Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of Vanderpump Rules Season 8, Episode 14, Shame Hangover. This episode begins at the skate park, with the boys from Vanderpump Rules, and I use the term boys very loosely because they look like the grandfathers of everybody else at that skate park. Jax is like head to toe in hockey gear. Beau is there, Tom and Max, who is falling on his ass constantly. Did he not learn from the roller skates he wore to Sandaval's party? You're not good on wheels, buddy. So the skateboard's flipping out from under him, and Schwartz then does some move that really just looked like a very slight jump. And he hurt his knee. Yeah, that's your body telling you that no matter how you act, you're not 16. Anyway, the guys are kind of talking about the night before and the way Schwartz spoke to Katie. And really, they're all kind of like, dude, that was extreme and uncomfortable for everybody. You were wrong. He does say something about being drunk, but you know what? A couple of you guys pointed this out too. Alcohol is kind of truth serum. And I don't believe for a second that what he said to Katie was not his truer feelings, shall we say. If I were Katie, I wouldn't just be wanting an apology. I would be wanting an explanation and then therapy, basically, to see if this could even be worked out. Next, we are at an axe throwing place. Is this now mandatory? Because I feel like it's a Bravo requirement. I don't know, guys. I'm starting to think axe throwing is the new vaginal rejuvenation. Okay, we've got Danica, Brett, Ariana, Raquel and James, and Dayna. And lo and behold, the expert axe thrower, Raquel. Of any of those six, I would think Raquel would be the one like throwing so weakly that it just bounces off and falls to the ground. Or maybe her axe doesn't even make it all the way to the wall. But no, this chick's getting bullseye after bullseye. In her confessional, she said, "I'm a bad axe bitch." I just think she had a lot pent up inside. That's what I think. I think a few of those tosses were for Lala, James, maybe even Logan. So Dayna and Brett are talking and Dayna invites him to her birthday party. And he said, yeah, sure. I was thinking we should probably go out to lunch or something too, maybe before that. And Dana's like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, good. We check in with Sir and Charli is waiting on a table. This scene is so funny, you guys. This scene is so good. She's recommending desserts to people. And she's like, you can't go wrong with the cobbler or the chocolate cake. That's what I would pick. Or the sorbet. And the customer goes, what about the cheesecake? And she goes, oh, yeah, the cheesecake is good. But, I'm just super picky. So I get my cheesecake from Cheesecake Factory. Yeah. Oh my God. Nothing like a server recommending the food at another restaurant. So good. Right after that, Lisa walks in and she sits down with Guillermo to have a talk about, I don't know, just like to have a meeting, I guess, wanting to know what's going on. And he said, well, there's a little issue with Danica. She had 2 tables. And I guess this was the night before. And she mixed them up or mixed up their orders. And one table ended up leaving. And the other table got charged an extra $200. Yeah. So she had to call them back and explain and apologize. So Lisa calls her over and kind of, I guess in her own way, is kind of reading her the riot act. But Danica's explanation is, I take this job very seriously, but I was stressed out yesterday. So I know that's not an excuse, but I'm just saying. I don't know any company where you can tell your boss, I was just stressed out, that's why I screwed up. And have your boss's reply be, I believe you've had problems like this in the past, Danica. Then we see a little clip where she and her boyfriend, Brett, a different Brett, bartending, and they got in a fight. And that's how Danica got put on probation because, as Lisa said, you put your hands on him. That is unacceptable. And so anyway, Lisa's big reprimand and her big advice is, you really need to soften up a bit. That's it? You're telling her to soften up. I don't know. In Lisa's confessional, she said how Danica's like going through the management program and everything. She does want to do this for a living. Oh, please. You really think she wants to manage a restaurant more than be on Vanderpump Rules? I don't know about that one. Oh, good. Now we're at Katie and Tom's house. And Tom sits down on the couch. Hey, Bubba. He's got an ice pack on his knee. I really got overzealous at the skate park. Katie, you know you're living with your little brother, right? Like, I think you need to ask yourself if that's what you want in a relationship. They talk about the night before because Katie is still upset. And I got to tell you something, man. Tom was not very apologetic. It was pretty much, well, yeah, you know, we've said things like that in the past. And, like, so then it makes it okay? I don't know. But the first thing he does before apologizing at all is reiterate that he still feels she was wrong. He's like, I gotta tell you something. I still don't understand your reaction to that prank. It was just a prank, Bubba. And Katie's like, I just thought it was a little insensitive in these times. Tom, don't be a social warrior. I think you were a little self-indulgent and immature. Man, big words from a 30-something who just fell at a skate park earlier that day. His stance seems to be that they put a lot of effort and money into that prank and that it should have been appreciated. Katie doesn't feel like she needs to be apologetic for being offended. And she's right. I mean, she has a right to feel how she did about it. Just like she said, you have a right to your reaction to the prank too. That's not what this is about. I mean, seriously, dude, in front of all your friends and, I don't know, millions of people watching on TV, you told your wife she was disgusting and that you were so turned off by her, and that's why you never have sex with her anymore. That's kind of a lot. He does finally get around to kind of apologizing. He said, you know, this morning I didn't even wake up with a hangover. It was just like I had a shame hangover. Hence the name of this episode. And he says he was sorry and that it was the alcohol. But, as we said earlier, alcohol is truth serum. But Katie seemed satisfied with that. And they move on to talking about Stassi and Beau. And how Stassi is pressuring Beau into proposing to her. But Beau has already kind of talked to Katie, so they know that Beau is sort of planning something. He just wants it to be a surprise for Stassi. Next, we are at Villa Blanca with the Witches of WeHo. The three of them, Kristen, Katie, and Stassi, are having a meeting about, is it a launch party or something for Witches of WeHo? Anyway, some kind of party. Lisa happens to be there with a friend of hers, so she comes over to their table to say hello, and then she said, we've got Las Vegas coming up soon, huh? And Katie's like, yeah. Well, then the camera pans over to Kristen, and Kristen's like, I don't know anything about this. Stassi tells us in her confessional that Katie and Tom are having their second, I was going to say renewing their vows, but apparently this is just sort of like a second wedding that they're having because the first one didn't take. No, because, they didn't sign the papers and make it official. So they're doing a little thing in Vegas. But Kristen is not invited. I don't like that. We found out later that, everybody's invited. Max is invited. I don't know. I just feel like Katie's being petty, and I think she's going to regret it. It's like Jax with Sandaval and how he would regret it. Although, to this day, Jax claims that he regrets having him in the wedding. But, they've got a lot of life left to live, and I think on Jax's deathbed he is not going to be sorry that Sandoval was there. And I think Katie might be sorry that she acted this way to Kristen, mostly because Kristen, it's not that Kristen did anything to her. It's that Kristen is messed up about this relationship with Carter, and maybe it's driving Katie crazy, but she's not trying to hurt you, Katie, you know? We check in with Dayna and Brett on their lunch date. I mean, I don't know. I guess it's going well. I think we could wrap up this lunch date in like 2 sentences. 1, Dayna's a cool chick. Guys like her. And 2, Brett's just looking for a girl who understands him and also has a thick ass. Oh, God. Dayna tells him that she invited Max to her birthday party. According to Dayna, everybody's invited to her birthday party. I mean, there is a little bit of a touching moment where she talks about her mom. You know, she lost her mom recently, I think just in the last couple of years. And she shared a birthday with her mother. So ever since she passed, Dayna has trouble celebrating her birthday. I get it. She said that she was very, very close to her mom. Her mom was her biggest supporter, and she's struggling. It's tough. Back at Villa Blanca, Lisa now summons Stassi to come to her table where she's having lunch with her friend. And Stassi goes over there and she said, what's going on with Beau? And Stassi's like, I don't know. It's driving me crazy. It's the one thing I can't control in my life. I always want to have such control over my entire life. And when I get married is out of my control. It's driving me crazy. And Lisa said, well, I'll see if I can do something about that. And then she says, when I mentioned Las Vegas, did I put my foot in it? And Stassi said, well, Kristen didn't know anything about it. Yeah, she's not invited. But it's fine. Who cares? Okay, now we are at Castaway Studios. That is Beau's company. He's a casting agent, I guess. And Katie and Tom walk in, and he thanks them for coming to meet with him there because he doesn't want Stassi to see their car, and there's no way to kind of do this without Stassi finding out what's going on. So he has planned how he's going to propose to her. It's perfect for Stassi. Oh wait, first of all, he was showing them some rings he got from his dad and his aunt. They're like antique rings with diamonds in them. They're beautiful. I don't know why he has 3 of them or who they belong to or whatever. That was a little confusing to me, but in any case, Katie tells him which one, you know, she thinks Stassi would like the best and stuff like that. So then he tells them that when they went to New Orleans for her grandmother's funeral, Stassi wanted to go look at mausoleums for herself. And he said, you know how Stassi loves graveyards and stuff? And they're like, oh God, yeah. And he said, so I was thinking I'm going to propose to her in a graveyard. And Katie's like, oh my God, that's perfect for Stassi. So Beau wants to try and find a ring box that looks like a rock so that he can put the ring in it and kind of hide it somewhere. And then like they'll sit down or on a bench or whatever in the graveyard and he'll be like, oh, what's that rock? And then he'll propose. I mean, it's perfect for Stassi, you know? In his confessional, he tells us all the reasons why he wants to marry her and why he loves her. Very, very sweet. I don't know how Stassi went from a guy like Patrick, who's, you know, eyeballing Lisa Vanderpump and being incredibly disrespectful, to Beau, it's just like a complete 180 for her in a good way. I mean, I'm very, very happy for her, but I don't know if she just like woke up one day and said, you know what, I am not going to go for the douchebag this time. Maybe. The next scene is Kristen, and she is in the car calling Scheana. She's driving to get some champagne for Dayna for her birthday party. And she tells Scheana that she was just at Villa Blanca with Katie and Stassi. And Lisa mentioned something about Las Vegas, and everybody knew what she meant except me. And Scheana goes, oh, yeah. I mean, Max told me something about that he was going there with Tom because Tom and Katie are having like a second wedding there. So Kristen is really pissed and she's hurt. She said that she's the one that introduced Katie and Schwartz to each other. You know what? Side note, Kristen should be like a professional matchmaker because she also introduced Stassi and Beau. So her track record's pretty good. Well, maybe not Schwartz and Katie. We'll see. They do seem to be going through with getting married again. So the next scene is a little throwaway scene at Sir. Everyone seems to be working. Brett, Dayna, Scheana, Peter is managing that night. And who walks in her old Sir uniform? Brittany. Yeah, Brittany's showing up to work again. I guess she's been off for months, You know how when you get married, you have to quit your job because planning your wedding is a full-time job? Yeah. I'm sure we've all done it. So now that she's married, she's reporting for duty because she doesn't want Jax to think she's not contributing to the finances. Yes, you're contributing to the finances of your $1 million home by being a part-time waitress. Just like Jax is taking care of the other half of the bills by being a part-time bartender. I think it would be better for me if they just admitted that, they're just living off of Bravo money. I don't know. I think it bothers me because it's like Bravo thinks that we're dumb enough to believe this. Okay. So now I told you Dayna and Scheana are also at Sir. So Dayna pulls Scheana over to the side to tell her that she and Brett went out to lunch. And I mean, it was super casual or whatever, but I don't know, like I kind of felt like there possibly could be something there, but I just wanted to tell you first because, how things were with you and I over Max, and I know you kind of like Brett, and I it's nothing, like there's nothing has gone on yet, but I just want to like kind of check in with you. Okay, Dayna, stop doing this. First of all, you don't need Sheena's permission. She doesn't own these boys. Secondly, your checking with Scheana first is pointless because Scheana is not going to tell you the truth. She's going to say, and she did, no, oh my God, no, we're just friends. We're just like best friends. Which is kind of the same thing she said about Max. Oh, it wasn't about Max at all. She just didn't like Dayna for some reason. Having nothing to do with Max. Yeah, okay. And finally, and most importantly, stop dating these guys. You're going to regret it. I promise you. You are not going to want to be attached to either of them. All right, now we are at Ariana's house, and Dayna and Lala are over. Girls just having a little pool party, I guess, the three of them. Dayna tells both of them about her birthday party and that she invited Max and that she talked to Scheana about there possibly being a connection between her and Brett. And Ariana said, well, Sheena's not going to be honest about it, even if she does like Brett, because she doesn't want to look like a fool. Because he kind of friend-zoned her. Not kind of, he did. So yeah, she's not going to let you know that it bothers her. Then she was talking about how she invited Max. We flip over to Tom Tom, where Max is talking to Sandaval. And he said, yeah, Scheana told me about Dayna's party, and Dayna's, I guess, telling everybody she invited me. She didn't invite me. But, whatever. It's fine. I mean, I guess she went out to lunch with Brett. I mean, I don't know what that was. I'm trying not to think about it too much, but whatever. So back to Ariana's house, Dayna tells us in her confessional that she didn't so much as call him and directly invite him. It's just that he should know that everybody's invited to her birthday party. Okay. Also, I think she knows that he's working that night. So it's a little bit of an empty gesture anyway, which there's a little question as to whether she even made a gesture at all. So while she's at Ariana's house, she texts Max and she said, oh, I know what I could do, because everybody's been asking what time. So she texted him, it's at 8:30, and he texted back, it's all good. There's a little throwaway scene with Stassi and Beau. They went out to dinner. Part of the problem is the girls that are getting in Stassi's head, and also honestly, Lisa Vanderpump getting in Stassi's head, saying, what's going on? Beau didn't ask you yet. So like she already feels anxious that she can't control this. But then I think she's getting a little bit of pressure from friends too. Beau wants to surprise her, and it's driving him nuts that she keeps asking about it because he has to keep telling her no, even though he's planning to do this like within the next 2 weeks. So in his confessional, he's like, it kills me when Stassi looks upset about this, but I want it to be a surprise. So it's like, I don't know what to do. Surprise mental health. Surprise mental health. All right, now it's Dayna's birthday party. I don't know where it's at, but I think every single person from the cast, except Max, is there. Old and new. Even Lisa Vanderpump shows up. That's quite an endorsement for Dayna, I think. Oh, also, you guys, are Danica and Charli in the opening of the show? I know Dayna is, and Max and Brett are, but I feel like they're not. I'm going to have to look again, but I kind of was glancing through it, and I'm like, I don't see them. I think Bravo's kind of putting their eggs in the Dayna basket. Charli needs to be full-time. I still think that girl's funny. Ariana said to Charli, how are you wearing that thing? She's got this, like, it's sort of like a bustier top, maybe, but it's very, very low cut and strapless, and it's barely covering the girls. So Ariana's like, how are you wearing that? And she goes, oh, well, I bought my boobs. I don't know if she means that the boobs are holding the thing up or what. I don't know. But in her confessional, Charli, she has named her boobs Tia and Tomorrow. And she starts singing Sister, Sister. Oh, my God. Get a kick out of that kid. Let's see. So what goes on at the party? We've got James, who is loving being around all this alcohol and being sober. We have Kristen, who has pulled Katie over into a little quiet corner to talk about her redoing the wedding and not inviting Kristen. And she starts crying and telling her how much it hurts. And Katie's like, I mean, come on. I didn't invite that many people, Kristen. And she's like, Max is going. Like, a lot of people are going. So then Katie said, well, listen, I just think you and I need a break from each other. Kristen tells her that she would jump in front of traffic for her, that she still loves her. She's her friend. And yeah, it's, you guys, I don't like this. Before you get all over me, I know Kristen is not a perfect person by any stretch. But here's the thing. They've forgiven her for sleeping with Jax when he was with Stassi. Just a myriad of things that she has done in the past. All of that was forgiven. This, her being, I don't know, I guess deceptive about whether or not she's with Carter. I don't even know if it is being deceptive. I think she's struggling with whether she herself wants to be with him or not. But in any case, that's the straw that broke the camel's back for you, Katie? I don't get it. All right, so Lala comes up to Dayna, who's talking to Brett. And Dayna has just found out from Brett, I think, that Scheana called Max after she talked to her to tell him that, I don't know, I guess that Dayna was starting to feel a connection with Brett or something like that. So Dayna said to Lala, is that true? And Lala goes, yeah, I mean, I heard from a lot of people that Scheana called him. So Dayna now goes to find Scheana and confront her. They go off to talk, and she said, what is going on? I talked to you to make sure it was okay. You said you were fine with it. Sheena's basically just doing a bunch of double talk. You know, first she's kind of acting like she doesn't think it was right because Brett and Max are friends. You know, like she cares about their friendship. Yeah, that's what you're concerned about, Scheana. But whatever, I guess in the end of that conversation, she did kind of get Max worked up, and he ended up saying, yeah, what is she going after one of my friends for? And Dayna said, oh, hold up. Max does not get a vote in this. Yeah, she's right. Because she went to Tom and told him she made a mistake, and as far as she's concerned, she wants to start back up with him, and he's the one that said no. So She's right. He does not get a say in this. But that's not what Scheana's concerned about anyway. So now Scheana goes to talk to Lala about it. I don't have feelings for Brett. I swear to God. I mean, like, maybe in the future, but not right now. Oh, honey, no, not in the future. Not now, not in the future, not in the past. He does not want you. He could not have made that more clear. So Lala says to her, do you notice how you always do this with the new hot guy? You always, like, make friends with him? And Scheana said, I like to have a single guy who's a best friend. Anyway, she does finally admit that everything isn't perfect in her life. And, you know, it's the age-old story, the minute somebody gets vulnerable. But she got very vulnerable, and damn it, now I feel sorry for Scheana. She said she's freezing her eggs, she's single, 34 years old, divorced, but I'm optimistic that one day I'm gonna find the right guy and he might want to have kids with me. Oh, I mean, she's breaking my heart. She's been so catty this season. I don't want to feel like this for her. Anyway, after Brett unsuccessfully gets in Lisa Vanderpump's pants, yeah, it was a creepy scene. He's very overtly flirty with Lisa, and Lisa likes it. Well, that makes one of us. It bothers me. In Brett's confessional, he's like, I would never be disrespectful to Ken, but, you know. Anyway, it's time to sing happy birthday to Dayna, and they put candles on her cake. And after she blows out the candles, Sandaval smashes the cake in her face. So she goes chasing after him, and now everyone's got cake on their face. And Brett and Dayna have a big old cakey kiss. And everyone's like, ooh, cheering them on. Well, not everyone. Because the camera pans over to Scheana, and there's this poor girl who's like wiping cake off of people, and she goes to like go near Scheana, and Sheena's like, I swear to God, you touch me and I'm going to lose it. And that is the end of episode 14. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad you're here. Please give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you haven't yet subscribed, go ahead and do that. Click on the bell if you want to be notified every time a new video comes out. And don't forget to leave a comment. I love to hear from you guys. I'll be right back here next week with the next recap of Vanderpump Rules. Stay home, stay safe. Bye.